Hello, my fellow nerds. Today is Friday. It's Friday morning. I went and dropped the girls off at school. I went and had my favorite breakfast, in case you want to know what my favorite breakfast is. It's Taco Cabana and their breakfast tacos. And I always get a bean and cheese and potato taco. And yes, I know that's not breakfast. I know that's not considered a breakfast taco. But they only make potatoes in the morning, and I love a bean and cheese and potato combination. I know, I'm a total weirdo. So that's what I had for breakfast. If you are returning to my podcast, thank you. I love you, and thank you for being my best friend. If you are new to my podcast, thank you for checking out my little podcast, and I just broke a podcast rule. Okay. Anyways, thank you for checking out my little podcast, and you're still my best friend. You're my best friend. Like, just because you're new doesn't mean you can't be my best friend. I hope you enjoyed my little podcast and my little community that I put together here. I moved my podcast over to Anchor because I wanted to test it out. And honestly, I love it. So I'll probably be keeping it here on Anchor. I looked over the stats. And not only does it show where in the world people listen to my podcast. For instance, it says like 38% of my listeners are in Ireland, and I am for it. I love it. If I could visit y'all, I totally would. Hopefully one day I will be able to go to Ireland, and I'll be like, yo, listeners, meet me here, and I can meet y'all in Ireland. It also shows where in the universe people listen to my podcast, and it says 100% of my listeners are on Earth, and I'm a little bummed that I have no listeners on Uranus. I really just wanted to say listeners on Uranus. That part was a joke, but it really is not a joke. They really have a thing where it says like, where in the universe I have listeners. And I'm gonna take a screenshot and post it on Instagram, post it on my social medias, and so you know I'm not lying. Anyways, I don't have an intro, so I'm just going to tell you. This is the Nerd in Texas podcast. I am your hostess, Chanel. And yes, I said hostess this time. I have a listener, Kevin, who doesn't like it when I accidentally say host. But anyways, this podcast is about movies, TV shows, books, video games, anything you might consider nerdy. I sprinkle a tiny bit of comedy on there, and just have a blast with you guys. Just have fun with you listeners. Alright, so this is how I run my podcast. The first part is about my topic, which is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And the second part is what's coming up and what I have planned for my podcast. And before I get into all of that, I have a challenge for you. I challenge you to take a screenshot or a picture of how you're listening to my podcast, post it on Instagram, and tag me so you can win some prizes. I want my listeners to win and people who actively listen to win, so that's why I ask you to do that. If you want to tag me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is @NerdInTexasPodcast. Another thing that I wanted to talk about in this episode was that I saw a thing on Facebook, and it's kind of become a disturbing trend amongst fandoms, and the actor who plays John Walker, who is Wyatt Russell, deleted a lot. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm fidgeting, and I accidentally fidgeted right in front of the microphone so you could hear what I was fidgeting with. Anyways, so Wyatt Russell deleted a lot of his social media accounts. He was receiving death threats about his character, about being Captain America, I guess. And it totally breaks my heart when actors or actresses get bullied on social media because of the character they play. Such as Star Wars actress Kelly Marie Tran. She got so bullied that she deleted her social media accounts. Like, these people are human beings. They're not just like characters that they play. They are human beings who have feelings too, and they're doing their job. Like, what is that noise? Okay, anyways. I think that's a part, like, metal on one of my roofs. This is on my roof that's just flapping because it's kind of windy out here. But they're doing their job. And it makes us look so stupid. Like, it makes the people who are doing it look so stupid. And Wyatt Russell, in case of nobody knows, is Kurt Russell's son. Kurt Russell is a huge actor, and I just, like, the way I think of it is, like, dang, I wonder how Kurt Russell thinks of this. Like, when you're doing this, how do you think Kurt Russell is going to think of you? You know, like, I don't know. It just makes us look stupid. And so, Wyatt Russell and to Kurt Russell, I am so sorry. Don't let these fans ruin it for you, because there are Marvel fans who love what you do. And no, we don't like change, and no, we don't agree with a new Captain America. But for me, who understands where they're trying to get at and where they're trying to go with it, we need John Walker. We need this for a certain reason. And hopefully y'all will find out soon. I did a podcast about who is Isaiah Bradley in the MCU, so I'm going to do a podcast episode about who is John Walker in the MCU, and that will explain a little bit more. Alright, now let's get to the fun part. But there is spoilers. So I'm going to say it slowly and one more time that there is spoilers. So if you want to back out real quick, watch the episode, and then come back and listen to my podcast about it. Do it. I'm kind of thinking about recording this now and releasing it tomorrow on Saturday. I'm going to be in Houston this weekend, so that's why I'm not recording it tomorrow. Normally that's what I do because I want to give people time to watch it. It just got released, like, last night, and I just watched it this morning, so I kind of want to give people time. So I might be releasing this Saturday morning. In the beginning of this episode, you get a good look at what Bucky went through in Wakanda. Wakanda wants Zemo. And in case if no one's seen it, in Avengers Civil War, Zemo killed the king of Wakanda. And he kind of also used Bucky for bad reasons in that episode. They are zeroing in on Carly and the soldiers of, or I call them the Wakanda security system. The soldiers of Wakanda / security system tells Bucky, like, hey, we want him. We don't understand why you released him. You have 8 hours, and if nothing gets resolved, if you don't hand him over, we're taking him. So they're zeroing in on Carly, and Sam and Bucky are having a hard time finding information because everyone is kind of a tight-knit group and they don't trust outsiders. But Zemo gets information, and he's slowly but surely releasing the information because, one, he's holding out. He doesn't want to go back to prison. He's trying to ride this out for as long as possible. And two, he's going to worry about them, like, just killing him, handing him over after all of this stuff, after he just, what's in it for him, that kind of a deal. The more and more info that comes to light, the more and more people are not liking the shield and what it represents. Johnny Walker catches up with them. He finds them and is ready to take out Carly. Sam, the Falcon, wants to talk to Carly, wants to talk her down, and like I said before, Johnny Walker is a hothead. He wants the bad guy no matter the cost. He doesn't care if Carly is just a kid, doesn't care if she's actually, like, a good person just doing bad things for a good cause. He doesn't care about any of that. But Sam does. Sam understands being in situations like this, and he wants to talk it out and he wants to resolve things when Johnny Walker's like, nope. Johnny Walker restrains Zemo and gives Sam 10 minutes to talk to her, and if nothing resolved, he's coming in hot, and that's exactly what happened. In the mix-up of Johnny Walker fighting with Carly, Carly got shot. Oh, Zemo gets loose. So Zemo gets loose. He shoots Carly, and she falls over and drops all the serum all over the ground. And he starts smashing all of the serum. He does this for one of two reasons. One, it's a pride thing. He is not happy that someone else created a serum and that it worked. And not only did it work, there is no side effects to it. He also tells Sam, like, there should be no super soldiers. There should be no Captain America. There should be no Carly. There shouldn't be any of that. But he also created Bucky. So he has a god complex. And Sam even says, like, that's like a godly thing to say. In all of these episodes, you always have, like, someone dropping a line that the power broker is after Carly. And Carly's like, I will deal with him when we cross that bridge, when it comes to light, whatever. But the thing is like, what I feel like is going to happen is the power broker probably isn't even going to show up until, like, the last episode. And it might be, like, a total cliffhanger or something huge happens. And so we will just have to keep waiting, because they just keep kind of, like, I'm telling you, in every episode they say something about the power broker. Even if it's just one sentence, they're like, oh, the power broker's gonna come and get you. You know, like, it's just, there's always just, like, a one-liner about the power broker. So, Johnny Walker has a run-in with Wakanda. There's, like, a special name for these, like, these soldiers in Wakanda. It's like the Dora Milaje. The Dora Milaje. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Like, I can't say it, and I'm sorry. And it's to the point where the Dora Milaje is like, yo, I gave you 8 hours. He's still here. We want Zemo. Johnny Walker is kind of like, who are you? And Bucky kind of warns them, like, hey, you don't want to be on their bad side. And Johnny Walker gets on their bad side. And it's to the point where he just kind of keeps burying himself with them. He's just like, I think we're kind of on the wrong foot here, or, you know, wrong impression. And he keeps trying, but he just keeps, like, burying himself at the same time. And he even says something like, you know, I'm Captain America, whatever. And they just look at him like, hashtag not my Captain America. You know, like, they just, like, don't care. Like, and so this fight breaks out. The Wakanda soldiers are fighting with Johnny Walker and Johnny Walker's partner. Bucky just kind of, like, wants to sit back and let it happen because he kind of deserves it. But Sam is like, Bucky, are you going to step in here? So Bucky finally steps in, and then he discovers that the soldiers of Wakanda know how to like, disable his I don't know what you call it, his metal arm, his, like, special arm. And they do this weird thing, and it just kind of, like, falls off. And he's just like, I didn't know that could do that. Like, I didn't know my arm could just fall off. Johnny Walker loses his fight with the Wakanda soldiers. And he even says something like, they weren't even super soldiers. And you can tell he feels powerless. He doesn't feel as strong. He doesn't feel, I don't know, as powerful as everybody else. So in the process, when Johnny Walker knocked out Zemo when he was fighting with Carly in the vials of serum went everywhere. Johnny Walker found a vial, and he's just been kind of holding on to it because I think he's honestly scared to take it. And then he loses his fight with the Wakanda soldiers, and that's when he starts talking to his partner, like, if you had a chance to take this, would you? And what I think his problem is I think Johnny Walker has PTSD, and for his time in the army and everything he went through, but instead of facing his trauma, they kind of put a pretty little bow on it, and he got 3 medals of honor. So instead of facing it, he got medals for it. And him taking the serum, is it going to, like, totally mess him up? Like, he's already mentally not there. And even Sam says something like, he's crazy. And I know crazy because I'm crazy. And this dude is crazy. So during the whole fight scene with everybody, Zemo slips out. Carly calls Sam's sister and threatens Sam's sister and nephews and tells her, like, I want to meet with Sam in private. But it gets cut short real quick because Sharon Carter has been tracking Johnny Walker and lets Sam know, like, hey, Johnny's on the move and he's going over here. So they all start fighting each other to get to Johnny, to where he's fighting these other super soldiers that are in the Flag Smashers. By the time Sam gets there, Johnny Walker's fighting with someone. They have Johnny Walker's partner, like, zip-tied and restrained, and he eventually gets out of it. And while he's fighting with that dude, you see Johnny Walker just, like, bend this metal pole, and they're like, oh crap. They realize he took the serum. He has super strength. Like, you already have a feeling that this is going to mess up his mental state. So in between super soldiers fighting super soldiers, Johnny Walker's partner gets slammed by Carly. She comes in and she's just like, wham! And it ends up killing him. Johnny Walker snaps. Like, he just snaps. And kills Carly's partner in front of everyone. And it's not just a, like, kills him. It's like, he kills him. There is now blood on the shield. On Captain America's shield. He is staining Captain America's shield. And when I say he, I mean Johnny Walker, the character, not Wyatt Russell. So don't go after Wyatt Russell. And not only is it in front of everybody, but everyone's got their phones out and taking video. So you know that's going to be all over the news. And, like, it's just so crazy. And then the episode ends, and you're just like, it's one of those things where your jaws just, like, dropped as you're watching it, and you're like, OMG. And then it ends, and you're still just, like, numb, and you're like, OMG. What's gonna happen? And I'm not gonna lie, I love seeing Bucky in action. Bucky Barnes, oh, so awesome. I love just seeing him, like, in fight scenes. I love fight scenes. I'm weird, I guess. So, what are your thoughts? One, I honestly wish they would show more of Sharon Carter, not just when they call her every now and then. Is Zemo gone for good? Will Wakanda catch up with him? Will Johnny Walker become the villain? WWSRD. What would Steve Rogers do? And yeah, I'm totally going to put that on a bracelet. WWSRD. That sounds freaking awesome. What would Steve Rogers do? Yeah. I'm going to copyright that. Just kidding. If you haven't caught on to the pattern yet with Sam and how Sam is and his demeanor and his just how he carries himself and all that fun stuff, I don't want to give anything away by saying what I think is going to go down. I want to see how it's played out, how they do this, But you should be seeing what they're putting down. And the closer and closer it gets to it, the more I will say something. You'll just have to see. If you're not catching on, actually message me. If you want to know, just message me. But I'm not going to say it on here yet. Hey nerds, you know I love helping you out. So I'm giving you a little tidbit on if you are wanting to start a podcast. I highly suggest you start it with Anchor. It's the easiest way to make a podcast, and let me explain. 1, it's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. I'll be in Houston this weekend for Bailey's softball tournament. I know I said when my Bell's palsy was better, I would go all in and do YouTube videos. And I 100% am still in. But the craziness hasn't subsided. I've had, I don't know, it's just been, like 2020 was rough, but for a lot of people, it actually wasn't that bad for me, but 2021 has just been so hard and exhausting. Lily has a cheer competition in 3 weeks, and if you know cheer and you know competitions, the last couple weeks before competition is crazy. I also decided to take a break from school for the summer semester. With everything that happened, I have been having such bad anxiety, and I can't even explain it. I've had such bad anxiety with a lot of things lately that it literally made me sick. Like the other night, I slept for maybe an hour, and I was sick to my stomach the whole night. Like, I couldn't even I was so tired, exhausted, and felt so sick that I couldn't get the girls to school. Which nowadays, if your kids miss school, they can jump on virtual and everything is fine. I'm the type of person that I kind of bottle everything up inside, and I try to suppress it or bury it. And when it doesn't work, I literally make myself sick over it. And a lot of these things that I have going on, I don't know how to fix. Like, I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to resolve some of the things that are going on. And I have a hard time with letting go of things I cannot control, if that makes any sense. So with all of that being said, I'm going to cut back on episodes. I'm just going to be doing Monday and Friday episodes until Lily's cheer is over and the semester is over, which is just a couple more weeks, so it's not going to be long. When the stress load is lightened and I get past this, I will do YouTube videos. For future episodes, I'll be doing a Johnny Walker episode. Bailey and I still need to do an anime episode. We're going to do that this Wednesday when she has a half day at school, and that will be my last Wednesday episode. The only reason why I'm doing that is because every Wednesday at school she has a half day. So it kind of makes it easier. With sponsors, I'm working on sponsors. I applied for a few. I'm just waiting to hear back. I applied the Friday before Easter weekend, and it's like my dream sponsor, and I have been checking every day since, and there's still, nothing's changed, just that I applied. And I was told that that's a good thing, that if it's taking a while, it's a good thing, and that's because they actually are going to take the time to review my application. Normally, they said, if you're declined right away. They're like, bam, declined. It kind of goes through like a filter system where it's like if you don't meet the criteria, they just if there's one thing that's not right about it, bam, automatically declined. So they told me, just keep holding on, just keep crossing fingers, because it really would be my, like, dream sponsor, and just to wait. I actually applied for 2 places that would be my dream sponsor, so we'll see what happens. If you love my podcast, I know it kind of got kind of like dark and serious there for a second. If you love my podcast and you want to show me some support, you can leave a tip in my virtual tip jar. I will be getting keychains and stickers soon, so for those who have donated, they'll be getting one, or if you just want one. I'll be sending stickers and keychains to people who have, who donate. I will leave all the links in my podcast description to all my socials and stuff and things, and you guys can check that all out. I hope everyone has a great Friday. I hope everyone has a great weekend. In case if I release this on Saturday, I hope you guys have a great Saturday. You'll hear from me on Monday, and peace out, Girl Scouts.